Hey everyone, thank you so much for joining another episode of Primary Market Chatter. We are slightly late, 5 minutes late. Sorry about that. We were just trying to fix some tech glitches. It seems Elon Musk's team is very happy with Trump winning, so they've been busy with respect to that. I wasn't able to add Rohit and Yash to speaker for the longest period of time. But now that all four of us are here, just let me set up the agenda and get started very quickly because this is going to be a slightly longest session. We have three IPOs to cover. हम तीन IPOs की बात करने वाले हैं आज. We will probably start with Sagility, the IPO which is ending tomorrow. Then we'll talk about Swiggy and end with Acme Solar. Just want to preface and set it up by saying a couple of things. One, we are not SEBI registered research analysts. Our view is just for educational purpose and please do not take it on face value. Please do your own due diligence before taking any decision or applying or not applying to the IPOs. Two, our views are slightly contradictory to GMP. This is the time which is a true test of a endless person. So, like at least for all three IPOs, from what I know, our views, we are going to be slightly longish on all. We like the companies, but let us tell you, what we are going to do in terms of the IPOs. But just want to highlight that a lot of these conversations, what we say, may take time to play out, so might not exactly be a listing day kind of a play. So definitely keep that in mind. That listing might be slightly different than what you might have considered per se. So be careful with respect to that and like approach your decisions basis that but again, and one last thing before we kind of move and get started is that if you don't follow the YouTube channel is in the pinned comments. What I also do is these spaces I remove from Twitter and put them on my YouTube channel. So if you haven't followed the YouTube channel, go ahead and follow it. I'll also put this space right after on YouTube so you can listen to it there. But with that, maybe let me, now that we have set it up, just want to start with Sagility. Sagility is a 2100 crore IPO ending tomorrow. There are a lot of pointers on it. I feel a lot of high showing PE. That is probably now not how it is calculated. But as I was saying, it's a 2106 CR IPO. And all of it is OFS, no fresh issue going to the company. And essentially, the IPO is a healthcare. The company provides healthcare services and majorly is a US based insurance company. So maybe let's get started with that and get the views on it. So Rohit, do you want to go ahead and talk about Sagility?
Sure. I hope I'm audible. Sagility is basically one of the largest healthcare services provider for the US health insurance market. So they work mainly with the payers. There are two sides to the healthcare market. It's typically the payer and the provider. Payer is the insurance company, and the provider is the hospital, and of course, there's the consumer and the that sort of connects all these three. This company focuses on the payers, which is the insurance companies, and was carved out a few years ago from Hinduja. Sorry, just 1 second. Sorry, guys. 1 second. Sorry.
In the meanwhile, Tanmay and Yash, can you guys hear Rohit properly or is it just me? Because he was slightly feeble for me. Like I couldn't hear properly.
हाँ सर, अंदर अंदर एक थोड़ा सा क्रैक आया था आवाज में, पर ठीक है.
Got it. Okay, let him come back and then we'll get started. If we have waited for so long, might as well wait for 30 more seconds and hear from him, the guy who has studied the company. In the meanwhile, just want to highlight, if you guys have any questions, please feel free to post your questions in the chat box as well. There's a very interesting question and maybe we can take that. It says that, do you have a stop loss in case listing is negative like Hyundai? If yes, what percentage is appropriate for the three IPOs? Always have a stop loss. Never not have a stop loss per se. So definitely keep that in mind while applying for IPOs. But In terms of like the three IPOs, we'll probably consider all three of them, but yeah, do not apply for them probably at a very high level only for listing gains. If you really believe in the company and are okay for a longish term of story, then it makes sense to get started. But Tanmay, maybe do you want to very quickly talk about Sagility? I believe you had put a tweet as well, right? So do you want to get started on Sagility?
हाँ एक्चुअली यार मैंने कंपनी तो बहुत ज्यादा पढ़ी बट मैं ऐसा कोई ड्राफ्ट वगैरह करके नहीं आया हूँ। तो मतलब रोहित भाई विल एक्चुअली कवर इट वेरी वेल बट मैं कुछ बोल दूंगा चीजें कि यार जो जैसा दिखता है ना बहुत प्राइमा फेसी लेवल पे उसको सामने देखने से अच्छा है कि आप उस पर थोड़ा सा एक 5-10 मिनट रिसर्च कीजिए और समझिए कि ये क्यों ऐसी चीजें हुए। तो मतलब मैंने एक मेरा लिस्ट डाल दिया। आई नो कि 90% ऑफ द पीपल हैव ऑलरेडी रेड दैट। तो बहुत सारे डाउट्स थे कि सर आपका Q1 में कंपनी ने 22 करोड़ का पैट दिखाया, आपका 150 करोड़ कहाँ से आ गया। तो आरएसपी में सारा दिया हुआ है वो जो चीज है ना कि मैं एक्चुअली व्हाई आई एम नॉट टॉकिंग ऑन द कंपनीज, रोहित इज श्योरली गोइंग टू टॉक ऑन इट एंड व्हाट ही कैन नॉट टॉक इज आई विल टॉक हियर। सो इन्होंने कुछ एसेट्स कंपनीज अक्वायर की थी तो उसका उन्होंने कुछ इम्पेयरमेंट्स रखे हैं, सिर्फ गुडविल का भी कुछ चीजें हुई है, फिर उसके बाद और आई थिंक और एक्चुअली बहुत सारे एडजस्टमेंट्स हैं उसके अंदर। बट ऑल द एडजस्टमेंट्स आर नॉन कैश, मतलब कंपनी से 1 रुपया भी बाहर नहीं जाने वाला है। दे आर जस्ट डन फॉर द सेक ऑफ अकाउंटिंग पॉलिसीज। ओके, तो उसके लिए ये हुआ है। बट if I talk at the adjusted PAT level, Sagility has made 590 crores profit after tax. After tax, I'm saying in FY24 and likely to make almost 700 crores PAT in FY25. And hype is valued at 20.5 times. So I think it's damn attractive.
Yeah, so slight complication. Rohit is out per se, so maybe Tanmay, do you want to go ahead and also talk about your tweet? I know you're kind of putting it on a play, putting it you on a play on. But do you want to go ahead and talk about Sagility, and then we can probably wait and see Rohit's status.
ओके सर सर तो फिर मैं स्टार्टिंग से करता हूँ, पूरा बिजनेस
हम्म,
मॉडल के साथ जाता हूँ फिर मैं।
ठीक है।
ओके आई ट्राई इट, आई नो इट विल बी अ बिट रॉ बट चलो कर लो, हैंडल कर लो इसको। सो व्हाट सेजिलिटी डज इज इट इज द लिंक बिटवीन द पेयर्स एंड द सी there are hospitals and medical agencies or laboratories or whatever things, and there are the insurance companies. So what Sagility does is it bridges the gap between both of these service providers. So the US healthcare market is a very complex kind of market. So if I just say that each year 50 crore claims are done in the US, which is actually 1.5 times of their population. वहां पे बहुत बड़ा कल्चर होता है कि आप 3-4-5 पॉलिसीज एक अकेला बंदा अकेली फैमिली ले रही है। सो इंडिया में इतना कल्चर नहीं है, बट वहां पे कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी ऑफ प्रोवाइडिंग हेल्थ केयर एंड दी इंश्योरेंस लाइक उसमें भी बहुत सारी सर्विसेज होती है, लाइक क्लेम्स मैनेजमेंट हो जाता है, क्लिनिकल मैनेजमेंट हो जाता है, डेटा आपको डेटा मैनेज करना पड़ता है, या फिर किसी को अपने किसी कंज्यूमर ने आपको कुछ गलत डेटा दिखा के क्लेम ले लिया तो आपको वो फिर से लेके लेना पड़ता है। सैजिलिटी चार्जेस अ फी आउट ऑफ इट फ्रॉम द इंश्योरेंस कंपनीज। सो ये सारी सर्विसेज इट्स लाइक एन बीपीओ, बट आई वोंट से डायरेक्ट बीपीओ, बट it is, first of all let me make it very clear that Sagility doesn't make any value addition to the insurance companies. It plays the operations, matlab they do the operations which are of a normal business nature to the insurance companies and make their places ज्यादा बिकेगी, वैसा कुछ नहीं करते। दे मैनेजेस द कोर ऑपरेशंस ऑफ द इंश्योरेंस कंपनी। सो इट इज एन सी out of, if I talk with a data point of view, out of 20 top 20 insurance providers in the US, I think just 5 companies have their own in-house this data management and all this clinical and क्लेम सेटलमेंट काइंड ऑफ थिंग। तो बाकी की जो कंपनीज है वो सारा इन्हीं कंपनियों से आउटसोर्स करती है। सो इफ आई गो ऑन दी डेटा की टॉप 10 में से 5 कंपनीज जो है यूएस की, दे आर Sagility's client. आई जस्ट नाउ टॉक ऑन द स्केल ऑफ द बिजनेस ऑफ Sagility. Sagility settled 10.7 crore claims in FY24. This is the official data. This 10.7 crore claims and total people involved in it, total personnel involved in it was 7.2 crore. मतलब 33 करोड़ यूएस पॉपुलेशन में से 7 करोड़ पॉपुलेशन का क्लेम्स मैनेज किए है Sagility. सो जस्ट अंडरस्टैंड द स्केल कि वो कितना बड़े साइज का बिजनेस है। ओके, तो अब मैं थोड़ा इस पे एबिटा मार्जिन वगैरह पे बात कर लूंगा। तो एबिटा मार्जिन इसके 23 से 25% कंसिस्टेंट है और पिछले 3 साल भी थे। एक्विजिशन, पहली बात तो ये कंपनी कैसे आई है मैं वो बताता हूँ। फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल आपको एक लिस्टेड कंपनी पता होगी, हिंदुजा ग्लोबल सॉल्यूशंस। 2021 में हिंदुजा ग्लोबल सॉल्यूशंस से ये हिंदुजा हेल्थ केयर सॉल्यूशंस, HHCL, HHSL, हिंदुस्तान हेल्थ केयर सॉल्यूशंस लिमिटेड अलग हुई थी। देन इट वाज टेकन ओवर बाय बेरिंग्स प्राइवेट इक्विटी एशिया, ओके, विच इज अ प्राइवेट इक्विटी फर्म। फिर बेरिंग्स को स्वीडन की एक इन्वेस्टमेंट फर्म है EQT करके, उन्होंने टेक ओवर किया। एंड नाउ EQT ओन्स 100% स्टेक इन दी Sagility via their subsidiary Sagility BV in the USA. ओके, तो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल आई विल से दैट दिस कंपनी इज एक्चुअली डेट फ्री कंपनी। तो आप बोलोगे कि यार वो 920 करोड़ का जो डेट बुक्स पे दिख रहा है वो क्या है? तो सी, इनका जो पेरेंट है ना, इन्होंने सेजिलिटी को टेक ओवर करने के लिए डेट लिया था। तो जस्ट टू रीपे दैट डेट, some part of debt has been pushed to the subsidiary to repay. तो ये जो 920 करोड़ 930 करोड़ का जो डेट है, $110 million, तो ये पेरेंट कंपनी का डेट चुकाने वाली है सेजिलिटी। अभी मैं आता हूँ कि बहुत लोग पूछते हैं कि यार पूरा OFS क्यों, व्हाई देयर इज नॉट अ फ्रेश इशू। लेट्स जस्ट स्पीक ऑन सम नंबर्स। See, in FY24, Sagility did a revenue of 4,700 crores approx. It had an EBITDA margin of close to 24.5%. It did an EBITDA of 1110 crores, 1,110 crores EBITDA in FY24. And the company generates or converts 87% of its EBITDA in the operating cash. So in FY24, Sagility has generated 950 crores of cash. अब मुझे एक बताओ, जो कंपनी 950 करोड़ कैश जनरेट कर लिया ऑन एन एनुअल बेसिस, जो 20% CAGR से और वो बढ़ेगा, तो 950 का 1100 हो जाएगा, 1100 का 1300 हो जाएगा। तो व्हाई विल दिस कंपनी नीड एन एक्स्ट्रा इक्विटी? तो ये फ्रेश इशू नहीं करेगी। ओके, तो इन्होंने एक प्री IPO राउंड भी किया था। आई थिंक इट वाज क्लोज टू 2.5% इक्विटी। उसमें बहुत अच्छे इन्वेस्टर्स आए थे, लाइक अदानी प्रॉपर्टीज, विच इज मतलब अदानी, गौतम अदानी ने अपने पर्सनल कैपेसिटी में इन्वेस्टमेंट्स किए हैं। आई थिंक एज पर माई नॉलेज उनकी प्राइमरी मार्केट की वाया डायरेक्ट एंट्री फर्स्ट इन्वेस्टमेंट है, फर्स्ट इन्वेस्टमेंट इन एन प्राइमरी मार्केट वो सेजिलिटी। फिर एवेंडस भी एक अच्छा फंड है विच आल्सो इन्वेस्टेड आई थिंक 170 करोर्स। देन IFL infused some money. Then Chandrakant Gogri's son and daughter, who is Chandrakant Gogri? He is the owner of listed Aarti group of industries. Aarti Industries हो गया, Aarti Drugs हो गया, उसके बाद सेजल ग्लास लिमिटेड भी उन्हीं की कंपनी है, Aarti Drugs हो गया। तो ये सारी कंपनीज उनके अंडर आती है। देन अपने और एक DRHP फाइल हुई थी 1.5 महीने पहले, मिडवेस्ट लिमिटेड करके, इंडिया सेकंड लार्जेस्ट मार्बल कंपनी। उनके जो प्रमोटर्स थे उन्होंने भी पैसा डाला इसमें। तो ये सारा प्री IPO पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू हो गया। अगर मैं अभी इसके एडजस्टेड पैट पे बोलूं तो 590 करोड़ से, मतलब अभी अगर मैं देखूं तो 23.5 के मल्टीपल पे आ रहा है 24 के। सी व्हाट दैट नंबर ऑफ 270 करोड़ इज लुकिंग एट एन पैट लेवल इज इररिलेवेंट। मैं जो नंबर दे रहा हूँ ये RHP में दिया हुआ है और ये मैं इंटरव्यूज पे भी डिस्कस हो चुका है। यू कैन जस्ट लुक एट इट, इट्स ऑफिशियल, नथिंग आई एम सेइंग। 589.5 करोड़ टू बी वेरी प्रिसाइज। सो अभी ये कंपनी को आप कंपेयर किसी के साथ नहीं कर सकते, बिकॉज इंडिया में ऐसा कोई कंपनी लिस्टेड इन, एक्चुअली एशिया में कोई नहीं है विच केटर्स टू द US मार्केट और ये सारे सर्विसेज देता है। यू कैन पार्टली बोलूंगा तो 30% ऑफ इट्स सर्विसेज आर प्रोवाइडेड बाय फर्स्ट सोर्स सॉल्यूशंस, गोयनका ग्रुप कंपनी, एंड सेकंड वन कैन बी कंपेयर्ड इज eClerx, and third one can be a Mediassist. Mediassist actually compare neither due to geography, but this I think 60 to 70% what services Sagility provides in the US is provided by Mediassist in India. It's a TPA, okay, third party insurance aggregator. So ये सब चीजें अभी एंकर बुक वॉज वेरी गुड। अभी मैं थोड़ा सा अगर इसका बोलूं तो व्हाट अदर कंपनीज आर ट्रेडिंग एंड व्हाट दिस कंपनी इज कमिंग एट अ वैल्यूएशन ऑफ। सो eClerx trades at close to 30 times, 35 times, and I think it trades at an EV/EBITDA of close to 19 times, और बाकी फर्स्ट सोर्स आई थिंक ट्रेड्स एट 47 times। मेडिसिस तो बहुत महंगा है, बिकॉज उसका एक रीजन भी है कि उन्होंने 2 कंपनीज एक्वायर किए, तो उनका भी रेवेन्यूज एंड EBITDA विल ऐड। सो मेडिसिस को आप ऐसे डायरेक्ट कंपेयर नहीं कर सकते हो। बट अगर मैं फर्स्ट सोर्स आई थिंक 28 टाइम्स EV/EBITDA पे चलता है, 19 टाइम्स पे eClerx है। दिस कंपनी इज कमिंग एट एन EV/EBITDA ऑफ आई थिंक 13.2 टाइम्स। ओके, प्राइस टू बुक भी ले लूं मैं तो इन दोनों का आई थिंक क्लोज टू 5 टाइम्स है। Sagility इज कमिंग एट अ प्राइस टू बुक वैल्यू ऑफ 1.8 टाइम्स। अगर मैं पी में बोल दिया तो सारी चीजों पे एक्चुअली दिस कंपनी सेक्यूरिटी शुड गेट अ प्रीमियम वैल्यूएशन अबाउट दिस बोथ। इसका रीजन आप बोलोगे कि भाई बिजनेस अलग है, तो दैट्स नॉट द रीजन, ग्रोथ भी बहुत अलग है। फर्स्ट सोर्स पिछले 3-4 साल का सीएजीआर में बोलो तो 10 से 12%, 8 से 10%, मैनेजमेंट ने 12 to 14% का गाइडेंस दिया है। आई थिंक अगर आपने देखा होगा तो 12 to 14% का इन्होंने भी दिया, बट दैट वाज इन डॉलर टर्म्स। वो रुपी टर्म्स में 13 to 15% होता है, आई फील 14 to 16% हो जाएगा पोस्ट लिस्टिंग, जो मैनेजमेंट कमेंट्री निकल के आएगी उसके बाद। इंक्लक्स, आई थिंक इंक्लक्स भी पहले भी 10-12-13% से ग्रो कर रहा था, बट उनका भी अगले साल से गाइडेंस बढ़ेगा, सो टफ टू कमेंट फॉर मी एट दिस पॉइंट। सो ओवरऑल इट्स अ सॉलिड बिजनेस, और promoter is also very strong. It's a private equity fund EQT, Swedish company, and I think द बेस्ट पार्ट आउट ऑफ दिस इज इनका कोई फंड साइकिल नहीं है। तो बहुत आपने देखा होगा कि भी समझे रिसेंट टेक लिस्टिंग हुई थी आदर हाउसिंग फाइनेंस, उनका प्राइवेट इक्विटी प्लेयर था ब्लैकस्टोन। सो उनका फंड लाइफ साइकिल होता है 10 साल का। 10 साल में से ऑलरेडी 5 साल जा चुके थे, तो आपको पता है ये कंपनी ये कि इनको 5 साल में पूरा इक्विटी निकालना पड़ेगा इनका ब्लैकस्टोन को। बट इन दिस केस इक्विटी डजंट हैव अ फंड साइकिल, so it can be at this point, it can be after 10 years, it can be after 50 years. So no one तो ऐसा नहीं होने वाला कि यार लिस्ट हो गई कंपनी 6 महीने का 1 साल का लॉक इन खत्म हो गया, आगे के शेयर वापस बेच दो, ऐसा नहीं होने वाला है। दैट रेस्ट 7.5% इक्विटी, दे हैव टू डाइल्यूट इन नेक्स्ट 3 years, so it's a big tenor, so nothing much to worry। एक्चुअली मैं और एक चीज बोलूंगा कि जब इसका डीआरएस पे आया था, इसका प्राइस बैंड एक्सपेक्टेड था बिटवीन 38 to 42, एंड इसका डाइल्यूशन 20% ऑफ द कंपनीज इक्विटी था। अभी इन्होंने 33% इशू साइज कम कर लिया, मतलब 99 करोड़ शेयर्स का 74 कर दिया, और प्राइस बैंड 38 से 42 को 30 कर दिया। मतलब एक्चुअली ये जो 4200 करोड़ 4000 करोड़ का आईपीओ था, 2100 आ रहा है, तो किसी भी लिहाज से सस्ता है। एंड आई फील कि यार ये कंपनी बहुत अच्छा करेगी। मतलब आई थिंक ऐसी कंपनीज बहुत रेयरली आती है, स्पेशली आप जब जस्ट देख लो आप कि मैं वारियनरीज को छोड़ दूं तो पिछले 2-3-4 महीने में ऐसी बहुत अच्छी कंपनीज, आई थिंक अच्छे बेस पे अच्छी ग्रोथ करने वाली कंपनीज बहुत कम आई है। आई थिंक यू आर गेटिंग अ टॉप नॉच मैनेजमेंट, क्वालिटी प्रमोटर्स, you are getting a good growth, you are getting a good market. And see, what is the time here? $4.7 trillion is the US healthcare market, out of which this company can easily do 1.5% of the complete revenue. तो टाइम तो बहुत बड़ा है। ओके, क्लोज टू 5 लाख करोड़ का टाइम है इनका। तो उसके सामने आप ये 5,000 करोड़ रेवेन्यू, आई थिंक 5,300 करोड़ से 525 करीब करीब करेंगे, तो वो ग्रोथ को बहुत बड़ा है। तो दे शुड श्योरली डू वेल, एंड आई फील कि अगर मुझे ये इशू प्राइस से 20% महंगा मिलता है, आई विल बाय पोस्ट लिस्टिंग एंड आई विल कीप इट श्योरली।
Perfect. Thank you so much, Tanmay, for your review on this. I know I put you on a spot. आपका plan नहीं था, but you kind of covered the spot company very well. I have a
आई
few
नो सर, मैं
questions.
एक बोल दूं,
How
आई
much
एम
does
श्योर
it
कि
remain with the promoter after the OFS?
82.6%।
So 82.6% still remains with the promoter, right? So there will be
करेक्ट
a
करेक्ट।
component of wanting to do this again after some period of time, right? Where they'll have to give
अगले
away some
तीन
of the
साल
stake again.
नेक्स्ट 3 years फ्रॉम सिंस द डेट ऑफ लिस्टिंग दे विल हैव अ टेन्योर ऑफ 3 years, और उसमें उनको 75% तक लाना पड़ेगा, 7.4% अप्रोक्स। आई थिंक इट्स अ वेरी स्मॉल यार, इतनी अच्छी कंपनी को तो कोई भी ले लेगा, मतलब इट्स नॉट अ बिग डील ऑनेस्टली।
गॉट इट। उसके बाद एक और क्वेश्चन है विच इज इंटरेस्टिंग, मे बी आई कैन ऑल्सो टेक इट, बट आई जस्ट वांट टू चेक। हिंदुजा ग्लोबल को जब इनने एक्वायर किया, उसके बाद सिंस देयर बिजनेस इज इन लाइक US and the company is based out of Sweden, why are they doing IPO in India? I believe because most of their operations, back-end operations, it's like a, COE sort of a setup, center of excellence उन्होंने इंडिया में बनाया है, बट आपके हिसाब से why do you think they have set out, they are doing the IPO in India itself?
अगर लिस्टिंग यूएस में होता तो और 20% सस्ता देना पड़ता।
Yeah, so that is also true. So in India, the multiples are slightly higher. So maybe that can
अरे
be the
नो
reason.
सर,
But would it also be
आई
right
वाज
to say
जस्ट जोकिंग
since
सर। मैं आई वाज जस्ट जोकिंग। अगर मैं यूएस में भी बात करूं तो ऐसी कंपनी लिस्टेड है एक्चुअली। आई थिंक आई एम श्योर, आई नो दैट आई कैन नॉट रिकॉल दिस नेम एक्चुअली। जब डीआरएस फाइल हुआ था, आई थिंक इट वाज रफली 5 months बैक, तब मैंने पढ़ी थी ये। तो आई थिंक वो उस टाइम पे 16 टाइम्स बेटा पे चलती थी, अब शायद 18-19 तो श्योरली होगी। क्योंकि अभी ट्रम्प साहब आ गए, तो पहले से ये इंश्योरेंस रिलेटेड कंपनियां रैली करना चालू हो चुकी थी। तो मैं फिर भी बोलूं तो फिर भी 50% सस्ता है यार।
Got it. But would it be right to say that most of their operations is based out of India, right? क्योंकि एम्प्लॉयज तो इंडिया और फिलीपींस में है, राइट? मेजरली जो 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 जो
Correct.
जो है, तो ट्रांसफर प्राइसिंग के थ्रू यहाँ पे रेवेन्यू दिखता है, लाइक 50% ऑफ रेवेन्यू इज इन इंडिया, 20-25% इज इन फिलीपींस फ्रॉम व्हेन आई वाज रीडिंग. इज दैट करेक्ट?
Actually, sir, that is on the employee side, but if I just actually 100% इनका सही, इसमें दो तीन चीजें रेवेन्यू कैसा देखते हो आप उसके हिसाब से, अगर आप बोलोगे कि कौन से कंपनी से रेवेन्यू आ रहा है तो दैट इज 100%, 110, पूरा 100% यूएस से आ रहा है. ओके, बट इफ यू जस्ट ब्रेक डाउन ऑफ द ज्योग्राफी, बिकॉज सी यूएस की कोई कंपनी है वो जमाइका में बिजनेस कर रही है, वो कोलंबिया में भी इनका हेडक्वार्टर है, उनका फिलीपींस में भी है, उनका और एक दो कंट्रीज में भी है, और दे आर आई थिंक गोइंग टू एक्सपांड इन 2 more कंट्रीज. तो ये सारी जो हेडक्वार्टर्स दैट इज सेटल्ड फॉर द अमेरिकन कंपनीज ऑपरेटिंग इन द अदर कंट्रीज. Actually, they are working for the American companies only, but just employees are outsourced from this companies from these countries. So I don't feel कि आपने we should interpret that 50% comes from India, 25% from Philippines. Actually, it's 100% American only.
Got it. With that, maybe coming to the last and the most important question.
सर,
Uh,
मैं एक चीज, एक क्लैरिफिकेशन देना चाहूंगा. ओके, तो आई थिंक इट्स रिलेटेड टू सम लीगल लिटिगेशंस. ओके, तो इन आई थिंक 2016-17 an American company sued Sagility for taking, it was two cases. One was of 550 crores. मैं USD में नहीं बोल रहा हूँ, अपने इंडियन रुपए में बोल रहा हूँ. 550 crores and one was of 920 crores. ओके, तो दैट इज ऑलरेडी सेटल्ड और दूसरा चल रहा है इन द कोर्ट ऑफ इलिनॉइस, यूएसए. तो ये जो 920 करोड़ का क्लेम है ना, दैट वाज डन व्हेन हिंदुजा ग्रुप यूज्ड टू ओन द कंपनी. तो uh, तो सी द फर्स्ट थिंग, जीएस हिंदुजा ग्लोबल सॉल्यूशन विच इज ऑलरेडी एन लिस्टेड कंपनी, उन्होंने इनको बैंक गारंटी दी हुई है ऑफ दैट 900 करोड़ सम. ओके, एंड इफ इट इज इफ एनी सम गोज बियॉन्ड दैट, तो उसके लिए भी इन्होंने कॉन्ट्रैक्ट ऑफ इंडेमनिटी साइन कर लिया है. तो मैनेजमेंट हैज सेड इट वेरी क्लियरली ऑन टीवी एट 2 different इंटरव्यूज दैट सैजिलिटी विच इज गोइंग टू बी द लिस्टेड एंटिटी, उन पे 1 रुपए का भी किसी भी तरीके का कोई लाइबिलिटी नहीं आने वाला. आई थिंक दिस क्वेश्चन वाज आस्क्ड टू मी बाय 3 different पीपल, सो मैंने उनका जवाब दे दिया.
Got it. Maybe one more question which I have in the comments is, do you remember at top of your head, like what is the valuation that this company is coming at? What was the pre-IPO done, and at what valuation did Hinduja sell the company to
ओके,
Sagility, and why did they sell in the first place? Again, I know I'm mixing a lot of questions, but how does that impact? And
ओके,
maybe,
मैं देता था. I'll do that. So first of thing, I think हिंदुजा ग्रुप उस वक्त कुछ एक्विजिशंस करने में भी था. आई थिंक उनका डेट भी ज्यादा था उस वक्त. तो एंड आई थिंक वन मोर थिंग वाज कि यार, सी when you scale a business to a certain extent that you have to monetize it to fund for some different plans which the group had that time. तो आई थिंक why did they sell, इसका कोई एक relevant आई विल से आई थिंक मोर क्लियर आंसर किसी के पास नहीं है. ओके, तो उस पे थोड़ा वेटेज अपन कम देंगे. हाँ, व्हाट एट व्हाट वैल्यूएशंस एंड व्हाट वाज मोर कंसिडर्ड इन इट, वो सब मैं बताता हूँ अच्छे से. 9,000 करोड़ में एक्विजिशन हुआ था, आई थिंक सेल हुआ था 9,000 करोड़ में. बेरिंगशिया फॉर अक्वायर्ड सेजिलिटी. ओके, 9,000 करोड़, और उसके साथ उन्होंने बहुत सारी और चीजें दी कि अगर ये कोई सेटल होगा तो हम आपको ये देंगे. अगर आई थिंक बहुत सारी उसके साथ अलाइड चीजें थी, उस पे आई एम ऑल्सो नॉट एन मच केपेबल पर्सन टू एक्सप्लेन दैट, बट और सारी चीजें थी. 9,000 करोड़ का आप पकड़ लो. तब आई थिंक बिजनेस का स्केल, आई थिंक मुझे जो याद है, आई थिंक उस वक्त एबिटा 700 करोड़ के करीब था. तो आई थिंक 13 टाइम्स एबिटा पे उन्होंने बिजनेस सेल किया था. एंड एक्चुअली आई थिंक दे वर गोइंग टू फेच एक्चुअली द हायर अमाउंट, बट लास्ट मोमेंट पे उन्होंने नीचे के अमाउंट पे एग्री कर लिया. एक्चुअली वो 11,500 करोड़ में टेक ओवर होने वाला था, बट आई थिंक मेरे को याद है उस वक्त. तो ऐसी चीजें हुई थी. तो अगर मैं आज के कंडीशन देखूं तो आई थिंक एबिटा इनका 1112 करोड़ है FY24, एंड नेक्स्ट ईयर इट इज सपोज टू बी क्लोज टू 22% CAGR ना. करीब करीब 1,350 करोड़ का एबिटा होगा. तो उसके हिसाब से ये 11 टाइम ऑफ एबिटा दे रहे हैं. एंड आई थिंक आई फील इट कैन इजीली फेच आई थिंक 24-26 टाइम्स इन फॉरवर्ड. तो आई थिंक स्कोप तो बहुत है यार इसमें. मतलब सर, होता है ना कि प्राइवेट इक्विटी में कोई कंपनी बेचना, उसके साथ बहुत सारी अलाइड चीज आती है. एंड व्हेन यू टेक ओवर इट, आपको उसके साथ बहुत सारे टैक्सेस देने पड़ते हैं, बहुत सारी चीजें करनी पड़ती है, वो बिजनेस को स्टेबलाइज करना पड़ता है, आपको मैनेजमेंट का टेक ओवर करना पड़ता है, तो उसमें बहुत सारी अलग चीजें। तो वो अगर 9,000 बोल रहे तो फॉर अस इट शुड बी 12 और 13,000। तो आई थिंक बहुत ही फेयर वैल्यूएशन पे आ रहा है IPO। और आज के मैं मल्टीपल पे बोलूं तो आई थिंक 580 crore, 589.5 crores FY24 एंड क्लोज टू 690 to 710 FY25। तो उसके हिसाब से 20 के पी पे आई थिंक टाइम फेयर।
Got it. So you're saying there is enough room left on the table. With that, one last question for you before I know Rohit is back. So my question to you is GMP क्यों नहीं दिख रहा है इसका, and how much should people be worried on applying this company without the GMP? And I'm assuming this is a question which a lot of people will have, and there's no easy answer to this.
सर पहली बात ना, लोग डरे हुए हैं। बहुत ऑनेस्ट आंसर देना चाहता हूँ मैं। आई थिंक आप पिछले 5-6 IPOs के ट्रेंड देखो तो इट वाज सिमिलर कि यार प्रीमियम नहीं आया, लिस्टिंग आई थिंक सबड्यूड थी। वारी का भी अच्छा लिस्टिंग था, बट आई थिंक प्रीमियम के हिसाब से या फिर सेंटिमेंट के हिसाब से थोड़ा आई थिंक नीचे था, बट आई कंसिडर इट एज अ गुड लिस्टिंग। तो सी मैं एक चीज बोलूंगा कि जो पिछली 5 या 6 लिस्टिंग्स थी ना, हर कंपनी में अपना कुछ फ्लॉ था। आप देखो यूंडा वैल्यूएशन एक्सपेंसिव थे, लास्ट मोमेंट पे 1750 का 1960 हो जाता है। एफकॉन्स हैड इट्स ओन इश्यूज, बहुत सारे इश्यूज थे, अगले 2 साल में ग्रोथ नहीं है, वैल्यूएशंस आर एक्सपेंसिव। ग्रुप की मार्केट में आई थिंक इन्वेस्टर फ्रेंडलीनेस पे बहुत बड़े सवाल है। आई थिंक लास्ट मंथ पे भी बहुत कुछ चीजें हुई थी, वो ना बताना ही अच्छा रहेगा। दीपक बिल्डर्स के भी बहुत अच्छे ज्यादा इश्यूज थे, फाइनेंशियल्स कुछ और दिखाए कुछ और। गरुड़ा के तो बिजनेस की जेन्युइनिटी पे ही सवाल था। गोदावरी वॉज अ गुड कंपनी, बट आई थिंक IPO उन्होंने गलत टाइम पे लाया, 3-4 महीने बाद लाते तो शायद उनको वैल्यूएशन भी अच्छा मिलता और लिस्टिंग भी अच्छी होती। तो बट आई फील कि सेजिलिटी में क्या है यार, फ्लॉ कुछ नहीं है, बिजनेस सॉलिड है, वैल्यूएशन आर आई थिंक अट्रैक्टिव नहीं बोलूंगा, माउथ वाटरिंग बोलूंगा, बहुत सस्ता दिया है। दिस कंपनी शुड फेच अ मिड कैप लेवल IT वैल्यूएशन इन आई थिंक 6-8 महीने में ही हो जाएगा, ज्यादा टाइम नहीं लगेगा इसको, 2 या 3 साल नहीं लगने वाले। प्रमोटर इज स्ट्रॉन्ग, बिजनेस इज डैम गुड, ग्रोथ का CAGR है, अगले साल आई थिंक एक्विजिशन भी आएगा अच्छा। तो और नहीं भी किया था, एक्चुअली आई फाइंड इट एज एन अपॉर्चुनिटी, बिकॉज सी आप कितना अप्लाई करोगे यार, 5 बीघे जाना है, 7 या 10 कर लोगे यार, 70-80 लाख के माल से क्या ही कर लोगे, मतलब आई मीन सॉरी 15-16 लाख के माल से क्या ही कर लोगे यार। वी कैन गेट अ गुड पाई आउट ऑफ इट एंड मेक सॉलिड क्रेजी मनी। अगर एक्चुअली आई प्रे किया रे नीचे लिस्ट हो, बड़ा क्वांटिटी ले पाए अपन, तो वैसी चीजें आई थिंक इट्स एन अपॉर्चुनिटी और नॉट एन वरी। इट्स अ नो ब्रेनर यार, मतलब इससे अच्छी चीज तो यार, इससे सस्ती चीज इंडियन मार्केट में तो नहीं मिलती, मुझे तो नहीं दिखती।
Got it. Maybe with that, I will go to Rohit. Rohit, if you are available, we have already covered Sagility in terms of what the company does, what valuation is it coming at. But do you want to go ahead and talk about why do you like the company per se, and just do you like the company in the first place as well? And before that, just want to say that we are covering Sagility right now. We'll move to the other two companies very quickly. But in the meanwhile, if you haven't joined the YouTube channel, the link is in the comments. And I've also posted Tanmay's final verdict on Sagility. So you can go ahead and bookmark that as well if you feel that that would be helpful for you later. With that, over to you, Rohit.
Thanks. I'll keep this short. Sorry, guys. I had to step out for a quick personal thing, but things are okay. I think Tanmay would have covered it. I could not listen to it, so I will not repeat anything that I think he would have anyway covered. I think the main thing is the valuation is actually very attractive. If you look at it superficially, it's a 60p or something, but that's mostly just because of the depreciation because of this acquisition. So that is sitting on the books. Otherwise, from a cash perspective, it's generating 1,000 crore cash a year. And I think Tanmay would have explained how the sort of fair PAT is not like whatever 140, 130, 200 crore, whatever it's showing, but closer to 600 crore last year. And so at that price, there is almost nothing, like a staffing company like a Quest Corp sits at like 14 EV EBITDA, whereas this company is a proper BPO, BPM kind of business, which typically trades at 20 to 30 EV EBITDA. And this one is coming at, I think, 13 times. So I think in any other market, this would have had a proper 50% pop. The market is such that everyone, I think Tanmay was mentioning, everyone is just a bit scared. Good company, decent companies are all listing much lower, and there is far stronger move post listing. So if that is the nature of the market, that is in grey, people are scared because it doesn't matter what the fair value, even if Wari fair value is say close to 3,500, ultimately it listed at 2,500, and people who have, like at least in gray, now people are losing money because it's listing far less than expected. So people are just, finger once bitten, twice shy kind. But I don't think that reflects the fair value of the company. It simply reflects where it might list. And as Tanmay said, this is just an opportunity. So personally, I don't like the industry so much, and I don't like BPO, BPM style businesses from my own, from my own portfolio standpoint. That's a very different distinct from saying this company is cheap. It is definitely cheaper than any other company in the sector in this space. So yeah, I think it is like a no-brainer. For me, it would be a short-term play, but for people who like this space and sector and understand it, like this will probably give good returns the long term too.
Got it. Maybe my question is, at what QIB subscription does it become a safe play to apply only for listing? I know that's a controversial question because QIBs are not coming at all. But yeah, if you guys want to take a hint at it, I was thinking somewhere around 30,000 CR. So like 40x, like 30x even is good, like 30. So like at something like that. But yeah, what is your take, guys?
सर मैं ना इसके ऊपर कोई नंबर नहीं दूंगा, सिर्फ एक चीज बताऊंगा यार। दुनिया का कौन सा फंड है जो 2 महीने में 30 या 40% नहीं बनाना चाहता, वो भी लिक्विड, जब चाहे तब निकाल लो। दूसरे पिछले 6 आईपीओ में अवेलेबल नहीं था, यहाँ पे है। जहां पे विजिबिलिटी आती है वहां पे क्यूआईबी आएंगे, बिल्कुल आएंगे, और बहुत अच्छा फिच करेंगे। आई फील 40x भी कम रहेगा, बहुत अच्छा जाएगा ये।
Yeah, I'm not sure how much of an impact. See, we've seen that when the QIB number is large, it's generally because banks come and bolster that number. And we also know banks are flippers. So I don't think there is as much value in like a very, very high QIB number. It just means that all your banks are like gussified and they're all going to dump on listing, which can, whatever, whether that will help push the price up or not, I don't know. They're not holders. So the guys who will come, even if the QIB number is a little low, are actually the guys who are interested in holding. So I think anything about 10x will actually be probably decent. Probably means the banks haven't come, and the guys who are coming are genuine sort of investors.
Got it. So maybe if I have to kind of say it, just make sure that you have something in mind which is safe, and then try and apply that much. Like if you see that the IPO is undersubscribed, then you only apply for that much amount. Like the risk which you can manage. End of the day, market is slightly off, so definitely keep that in mind. But other than that, at least I really like the company. I would be going quite heavily on this IPO. I don't mind holding some of it as well. So let's see how it goes. And there are a few questions with respect to how much will Big H and I go. Nobody can say right now. We'll see how it goes. So you'll have to play by the minute, see how it is looking at 230, and then apply basis that. No, not the best answer per se, but yeah, just make sure of how much allotment do you want. That will help you in order to. And again, this is a very good situation to be in, guys, because earlier we only used to be कि जितना चाहिए apply करो, allotment तो बहुत ही मुश्किल से मिलेगा. Right now you are in a situation where you can decide, okay, how much allotment do you want to go ahead and take home. So it is a very, very good situation, and I believe it is something which will probably not be replicated. At least ऐसा कभी नहीं होगा कि 3 काफी अच्छे IPO आ रहे हैं और तीनों freely available हैं per se. And again, I can be wrong, so definitely take it with a pinch of salt. Not trying to pump any of the IPOs, not that I have any stake in any. But yeah, with that, we have kind of covered Sagility. We will very quickly now move to the second issue in the interest of time, since we are also running slightly behind time. We'll talk about Swiggy IPO. Just highlighting that we had covered the Swiggy IPO in our last space. So, like the valuation, etc., of the company is covered per se, in terms of the business model, etc., is covered, what the company does, how much did the revenue make. If you have missed that, that space is available on our YouTube channel. You can go ahead and follow the YouTube channel. YouTube channel ऊपर pinned है, तो आप उसको जाके फॉलो कर सकते हो और वहां पे जाके सुन सकते हो स्विगी का रिव्यू. बट या जस्ट वांट टू maybe go to Tanmay and just check with Tanmay, have you done a apples to apples comparison compared to, let's say, a Blinkit, and figured out where should the valuation be? And B, how's the anchor book like for Swiggy?
सर आई थिंक वैल्यूएशन पे मैं अभी कमेंट नहीं करूंगा। आई थिंक आई हैव रेड एक्चुअली वेल, बट नॉट इन द पोजीशन टू कमेंट एट दिस पॉइंट। मैं कल आई ट्राई माई लेवल बेस्ट. एक्चुअली मैं थोड़ा बाहर हूँ अभी, कल वापस में जाऊंगा अगर, तो आई डू अ सॉलिड एनालिसिस एंड पोस्ट टुमारो. सो उस पे मैं बात करूंगा. बट यस, एंकर वाज आई थिंक वेरी गुड. आई थिंक एक चीज मैं जरूर बोलना चाहूंगा कि वो जो नंबर मिला था मनी कंट्रोल से कि 25 गुना एंकर बुक गया, दैट इज रॉन्ग. जो मेरा कैलकुलेशन निकल रहा है 16 से 18 गुना गया. सो आई थिंक 16 16 to 18 टाइम्स आल्सो क्रेजी ऑनेस्टली. बट यस, 25% एक्स नंबर वाज श्योरली रॉन्ग. आई थिंक इट वाज वेरी गुड एंकर. मतलब सारे तरीके के फंड से ब्लेंड बहुत अच्छा था. आई थिंक जो मैं फिगर आउट कर पा रहा हूँ ना, वो उस तरह के फंड से कि यार नहीं, हमको वी आर रेडी टू होल्ड इट फॉर एन मीडियम टर्म एटलीस्ट. मतलब आई फील दे आर लुकिंग फॉर गुड प्रॉफिट इन 3 to 5 months काइंड ऑफ. उस तरह के एंकर बुक है कुछ.
Got it. Tanmay and me were on the last page, but Rohit, you were not here, so again, maybe first bouncing it by you. Do you have any comments on Swiggy that you want to share? How do you find the company? And then we'll move it over to Yash for his comments. And Swiggy is someone with something which everyone has an opinion on, so no short of opinions, person.
Yeah, I'll share a quick view. I mean, this is not. So I'll start with a slightly different starting point, which is just on the company at a company level, not necessarily on the business model or fundamentals. But this is a company I know for the last, almost like, since this company was launched. I've seen this company as a VC when they were raising their Series A round. I know one of the founders very well. He's a batchmate of mine. I have hired people. I have worked with Swiggy, on certain things. So this is a company I know, understand inside out from an employee standpoint, from a culture standpoint, from what they stand for, the innovation that they keep doing. This is the startup that a lot of us used to look up to, in that 2014 to 2018 phase, where this was the sort of breakout startup in Bangalore and in this sort of friend circle. And they have never stopped, ceasing to amaze in terms of what they were able to deliver, the growth they were able to deliver, the kind of funds, the kind of investors, the kind of employees that they were able to hire. I remember reading some random stray comments on Chittorgarh that, I don't remember where, somewhere that, like Sri Harsha had a slightly, when during the interviews he was, looking to the left, looking to the right kind of thing. I mean, all of that is just reading way too much into what is an extraordinarily strong team, in my view, that have achieved, they were actually the first people to even do quick commerce, not the 10-minute commerce, but to do like a 30-minute sort of commerce. They sort of launched Instamart in that concept. Then, of course, Zepto came with the 10-minute thing, and 10-minute thing was the thing that really sort of took off. But the number of innovations, the number of innovative things that these guys have done, I would say Zomato is actually phenomenal at picking something and executing it and doing it insanely efficiently. But in terms of just doing different things, new things, trying, trying to sort of create new markets and opportunities, even looking, very deeply at what other countries do, what China does, what other developing and developed markets do, and using those learnings to try and do different things in India. I think Swiggy is ahead of the curve of, all of the players in this space. And this is coming from like someone who's seen the working sort of inside out. So my view on the Swiggy team, the Swiggy sort of, like now that they're a public company, in the next 12 months, this company will be profitable. That I am sure of. I mean, this is not because someone has said this to me, but I just know. Like once they become public, that was the trigger for Zomato as well, right? It's only once you get to that point where you're in the public eye and you kind of need to be profitable is when you will kind of fully turn profitable. And the sort of levers that you can see, most of us are Swiggy users. You would have seen how the, platform fee has gone from 1 rupee to 10 rupees in like the last 6 months. So all of those things will sort of play out. You will be able to kind of feel it happening as it happens. So I have no doubt that this company will achieve the profitability target, which will be one of the huge triggers for it. And I'm sure the market will price that this will happen very quickly. The valuation gap to me is, again, mind-boggling, that there is a almost 3x difference. Today, Zomato is up another 5%, which is excellent. So there's a 3x valuation gap between a Swiggy or like 2.5, 2.6x, whatever that number is, despite the actual sort of market share being closer to anywhere from 5 to 20% difference in market share. Profitable, you can give it a discount. You can give it a discount for being number 2, but you cannot give it a 70% discount, for all of those things. So somehow I'm a little shocked at how cheap they have priced this issue. 10 billion or whatever. There were sounds that it was going to come at 15 billion. I feel that this is, I personally am not sure if this will list all that well, but it feels like one of those let it list week buy it on listing and make money, very quickly post listing. It feels like this would be one of those. I anyway plan to apply. In fact, I will definitely have some Swiggy in my long term portfolio, partly because I've been a consumer for all these years. But yeah, I'm overall very bullish on this company, both in the short term and the long term.
यार मेरा एक छोटा सा सवाल रहेगा यार कि पिछले 2 साल में अगर मैं ओला का लिस्टिंग अगर साइडवेज कर दूं तो कौन सा ऐसा स्टार्टअप था जो आई थिंक एट पार या नीचे लिस्ट हुआ था? एनी कोई है? कैन एनीवन रिकॉल समथिंग?
Probably Paytm, sadly. I know that was maybe a little older.
अब पेटीएम जाने 2 साल से आई न्यू पेटीएम एंड कार्टनेट वाज कमिंग ऑन द लाइन, सो इसलिए 2 साल बोला.
Office was also slightly up. Go was also slightly up. Can't remember any.
I feel that's a big hint from Tanmay and where it is going to this. Just want to highlight all three of these issues are 10% retail. 10% retail issue, 75% is already with institutions. So it is slightly easier to manage, while the last 5 of them were 35% retail. So it's a completely different ball game when you have 50% with the institution versus when you have 75%. So keep that in mind as well when you are thinking about the companies. But yeah, that is with respect to Swiggy. Yash, do you have anything to add on Swiggy, or we can kind of move forward to Acme Solar? You are on mute if you're saying something. I think Yash can't hear us. But yeah, with that, we can move forward to the next issue, Acme Solar. But yeah, Tanmay, Rohit, do you guys have any closing comments on Acme? On Swiggy.
हाँ सर, मैं कुछ बोलूंगा कि आई थिंक आई जस्ट सॉ वन थिंग दैट कि विच इन्वेस्टर इज डाइल्यूटिंग stake in the IPO. I think surprised to see that not a single investor, I think except Rosas, I think it was 12%. Not a single investor is diluting more than 10% of their shareholding. Matlab if XYZ investor is holding 5%, they are not diluting more than 0.5%. I think this is surely a very good sign, I think. And the valuation standpoint, यार, I think I have already covered that in the last page कि ये मिल रहा है 86 पे, Zomato है 2,30,000 पे. I think it's a no-brainer. I know that Zomato trades a bit expensive, but just think from a data point of view or a standpoint कि food delivery business is expected to grow at 28 to 35% CAGR for next 5 years, and quick commerce is expected to grow at a CAGR of 65% in next 5 years. तो ये जो 65% का नंबर है ना, ये आपके डेटा सेंटर और स्मार्ट मीटर से बहुत ज्यादा है. And this will get crazy valuations. Whatever you see, आपको profit नहीं मिल रहा है, you will shall not value this because you are going to surely miss the train. I think अगर आप देखोगे तो इंडिया का कंजप्शन का आपको अगर प्ले खेलना हो तो आपको क्या करोगे? FMCG कंपनीज लोगे, रिटेल कंपनीज लोगे. आपको दोनों में से किसी भी जगह पर 10% के बियॉन्ड ग्रोथ नहीं मिलेगी. FMCG में तो 5-7% है, उधर तो भी आई थिंक रिटेल में आई थिंक 10% है, वैल्यू रिटेल में 15% है. You cannot get in any sector except the quick commerce to drive that solid growth. I think आपको 60-65% का CAGR बिजनेस अगर आई थिंक रफली मैं अगर बोलूं तो 5 times, आई थिंक 5.5 times और 5.2 times अगर मार्केट कैप टू सेल्स पे मिल रहा है तो इससे सस्ता तो कोई और कंट्री में कुछ नहीं मिलता. आई जस्ट शेयर वन थिंग मोर कि एक कंपनी है जर्मनी की, डिलीवरी हीरो करके, उसका वैल्यूएशन है 3.5 लाख करोड़. ओके, आप एक बार जर्मनी करके पॉपुलेशन देखो, उसका रेवेन्यू देखो, प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी देखो. फिर आप इंडिया में आओ, पॉपुलेशन देखो, प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी देखो, टाइम देखो, CAGR देखो, देन यू सी दैट 86,000 करोड़ नंबर. यू कैन फिगर आउट इट योरसेल्व्स. हम में से किसी तीन को कोई बोलने की जरूरत नहीं है. तो आई थिंक दिस इज आई थिंक सॉलिड बेट. लिस्टिंग पे भी आई फील प्ले होगा ये. आई थिंक इफ दिस मार्केट्स वर गुड, दिस वुड हैव लिस्टेड 45% surely.
I'll say one more thing, Manish, as a parting point. This is a comment I remember hearing from this Manish Chokhani, the Inam Holdings guy. And he was sort of cautioning on how Zomato is overvalued. This was when it was at 280, 290, whatever, and said that, if Zomato were to generate what I think 20,000, 30,000 crore PAT or something, and I'm figuring the numbers honestly, maybe 20,000 crore PAT. Anyway, the gist of it was, if they were to generate in say 6 years or 7 years 20,000 crore PAT and were to be valued at 30p at that time, that is a 15% CAGR from today. So his point was, look at that, today it makes no profit. It has to do 20,000 crore a year of PAT for it to be worth, even compound from here at 15%. The problem with that kind of a comment is it completely misses the relative valuation of our country with respect to all of the other sectors that we are in, right? Including the consumption sector. Look at an HUL, look at a Nestle, look at the Britannia, which is say the consumption basket that you play here. All of these companies are sitting at 60p, 70p, growing 1%, 2%, growing earnings 3, 4, 5%. If Zomato, every chance Zomato might be 30p, exit P in 2030. But then an HUL probably be at 15p. And an HUL is going to, Zomato might give a 15% CAGR at that time. HUL probably give a 15% degrowth if his logic is to hold. So, you cannot apply these kind of statements in isolation. You have to look at what the rest of the market is going to do as well and what the rest of the market is at. It's very possible that Zomato, okay, it is overvalued and maybe it will only give 15% CAGR for the next 5-7 years. But in that case, the rest of the market is going to degrow. So don't think that something is overvalued just because it doesn't make a profit today or it has a high multiple. Zomato is the rest of the market, like degrowing, non-growing businesses trade at 70p. Why shouldn't Zomato at least get a 60, 70p? And for it to get a 60, 70p, probably get there in 2 or 3 years. So it's like, don't just look at present valuation. Everyone always looks at what this business is going to look like 2-3 years down the line, 4 years down the line. There are no other business, hardly any business in India which grow at least in the Mainboard, sort of large cap space, that grow at 30-40% year on year. Even the startups that are there, Nika, like all of these guys, GoDigit, all of these guys are growing 20%, 22%. Zomato's, of course, are stellar, growing at 60%. Even Swiggy's coming at 40% growth, which is amazing. So I think this market will give it a huge premium at the scale that it is. So I think it is cheap. But I think, we've beaten this horse now a few times.
Yeah,
So
Fine.
I'll add one point कि यार अभी की सबने न्यूज सुना होगा कि यार Zomato is set to raise almost 10,000 crore in QIP. I think वो होगा करीब 10% discount from the CMP. It would be at roughly a valuation of 2.1 lakh crores. And I think you will get the news soon कि what is the demand at that valuations. Now just I'll use my own common sense. If I'm ready to invest in Zomato in an QIB of 10,000 crores at a valuation of 2.1 lakh, then why should I not invest in Swiggy at almost similar or 10 or 15% lower fundamentals at 86,000 crores? I think this is not question for us three or the listeners listening here. It's for the institutions, and they know better than us. So I feel I'm giving a path ki how the demand is going to get shaped. And ना अगर मैं बहुत practically बात करूँ ना, तो 11,000 करोड़ पे लिक्विडिटी होता है 2,000 करोड़ का, एंड इसको सोक करने के लिए कुछ नहीं लगता. जस्ट थिंक वन मोर थिंग कि आप मैनकाइंड फार्मा का आईपीओ आया था ना, वो था ऑलमोस्ट 4,000 करोड़ का. उस पर रिटेल था करीब इफ आई एम नॉट रॉन्ग 1,400 करोड़ का. दैट टाइम आई थिंक रिटेल कोटा ऑफर्ड फॉर एन इक्विटी ऑफ द कंपनी वाज रफली 6%. You know what is the current shareholding of the public? If I'll remove the funds which are whose shareholding pattern comes in the public, 0.4%. And you just see the stock price now 1,400 के बाद इसमें volumes कभी नहीं आए except that one 2% block deal in I think when the rate was 2,100 till now the CMP is I think 2,600. तो just think on that level कि इसका रिटेल 10% है, लिक्विडिटी नहीं है और जल्दी आने भी नहीं वाली बिकॉज लॉक इन है. कम से कम नेक्स्ट चंक को आने को 3 से 4 महीने तो श्योरली लगेंगे स्विगी के. तो आई थिंक डिमांड कैन बी सॉलिड. what I would feel is.
Yep, correct. एक दो चीजें
Also,
और which I feel personally should be kept in mind is that when you are kind of looking at Swiggy, think of it as a proxy to consumption and then think of, would Swiggy exist in a oligopoly? Would Swiggy and Zomato coexist, or will there be a uh, right to win to one player? Like, will it be a market where one person will take all, or will there be two players, three players which will exist? I feel it will be more than one players, because of which Swiggy will always remain profitable, always remain in the picture per se. And as Rohit was saying, right, I also followed Swiggy. Swiggy was the first one to start delivery essentially. Shadow Fox करके एक कंपनी होती थी, उसके साथ इनने चालू किया था. Zomato used to do menus back then, and then they had pivoted to delivery. Similarly, Swiggy was the one which started the concept of quick commerce, and then Zepto and Zomato kind of came in. So it's always been very good at innovating, but probably has always taken a slightly conservative approach, which is a slight issue, like a slight complaint from my side to them. That, and again, this is like they are somewhere like I was reading an article from Ken which said they are like a middle child which doesn't enjoy like the bigger child like Zomato right now. It has all the visibility, while the youngest child can be the most reckless like Zepto. It is stuck in somewhere between per se. So keep that in mind. But I again feel it's not a market which where one person will take all. I had done a poll as well where 67% people had selected that they kind of choose whichever app is cheaper. I do not feel that is the general sentiment. And again, there's no anecdotal evidence for it, but at least what I try and do is that I just apply, order from one app and I continue with it. Like I don't change apps ever, because it's just too much hassle to kind of compare the prices between two apps. But again, that's probably just me. So I'm definitely very bullish on Swiggy, and I think it should list well. With that, maybe we can move forward
Also,
to,
Manish,
yeah.
adding to Rohit's point on HUL valuation and the consumption valuation in general, uh, I would like to add this one point that overall जो भी ये consumption place की companies थी HUL etc etc ये सब में valuation has almost been the same. But if you look at the volume, नए players आ रहे हैं and volume already distribute हो रहा है and then also they are getting the same valuation कि high P या high P है. I think this is more of a myth that has been in the market now कि इनको हाई पी मिलना चाहिए कंजम्पशन स्टोरी को क्योंकि वो डीरेट हो ही नहीं रही है कंपनीज एंड स्टिल वो उतना तेजी से ग्रो भी नहीं कर रही हैं तो आई थिंक लुकिंग एट दैट स्विगी इज क्वाइट चीप एज पर मी.
Got it. So maybe this is a question which I want to pose to everyone, and we can take it after as well. So what we'll try and do is, again, a question which is came up is, what is the order for listing gains and what is the order for long term? Long term, all three of them look good to me, very honestly. But yeah, listing gains, maybe we'll do a order towards the end of it. But before that, we'll kind of talk about the one last company which we want to discuss, and we are slightly running behind schedule. So sorry about that. But let me start with Acme Solar. So setting it up for Yash, Acme Solar, it's a 2900 CR IPO. 2400 of which is a fresh issue and 500 is a OFS. And again, there are a lot of misconceptions with respect to how the company is being positioned. But again, it's a IPP company. It produces electricity from wind and solar energy and then it distributes it. I kind of like this company, but yes, do you want to give a very high level summary of the company and then we can get into a discussion on what we think about the company?
Sure. So Acme Solar Holdings was incorporated in 2015 and is a part of the Acme Group. So the company is a renewable energy company which has a portfolio of this solar projects, wind farms, hybrid, and firm and dispatchable renewable energy projects. So the company developed their own, builds and operates, and even maintains the renewable scale project through EPC and OEMs. Then they give their projects to lease and through IPP. So basically, they generate most of the revenue from sale of electricity. So, if I talk about the history of the company underwent internal restructuring recently to raise this fresh issue. In the process, they acquired 6 SPVs. So, this SPVs is a very basic concept, which is quite common in this renewable energy company, because this has been created because बैलेंस शीट लेवर ना हो ज्यादा एंड इफ देर इज सम इशू इन द प्रोजेक्ट तो वो पेरेंट कंपनी पे ना आए एसपीवी के. तो इनका अभी 3 सब्सिडरी है Acme Cleantech, and further company has also acquired another subsidiaries as well. तो इनका जो रेवेन्यू सेग्रीगेशन है वो मेजरली कम थ्रू फ्रॉम सेल ऑफ इलेक्ट्रिसिटी, जिसमें दे हैव फ्यू क्लाइंट्स लाइक सोलर एनर्जी कॉर्पोरेशन, तेलंगाना स्टेट कॉर्पोरेशन, देन देयर इज महाराष्ट्र स्टेट, एंड मेजरली स्टेट्स वगैरह को ये देती है. आई वुड लाइक टू ऑल्सो टॉक अबाउट कि ये कंपनी ने स्टार्ट कैसे किया था. तो 2017 में दे actually bought a operational portfolio of 494 megawatt from their group company, and then they achieved 1 gigawatt of renewable energy, operational renewable energy 2017 में. Then coming to 2022, 4 years down the line, they have now commissioned over 3 gigawatt of renewable energy, and coming to 2024, they have almost 369 megawatts of solar plants to sold. Then they have diversified their renewable energy projects with wind, solar, hybrid, etc., etc. Then the company is also among the top 10 renewable players as per the CRISIL report. And recently they have won many awards also, like top utility scale solar developer, India Annual Solar Awards. Then there is a runner-up award for outstanding solar project. So this is the basic overview of the company. Manish, I would like to invite all of you to maybe speak more about how
Yeah.
the
Before
financials
that,
look like.
Yash, I had a question. इसमें exceptional gain है क्या? Like जो revenue gain दिख रहा है, profit दिख रहा है year में, उसमें exceptional gain कितना है और वो कहाँ से आ रहा है? बस any read on that?
Exceptional gain, Manish, I think it was on 2022, and I don't think that it is currently in the P&L as in FY24 and June 24 में.
Got it. Okay. Maybe Rohit, do you want to go ahead and feel what
Sir,
you
I'll
think
I'll
about?
I'll add one thing on this. See कि FY24 में the company sold 1800 megawatt of their operational capacity. तो उसके वजह
Also,
से इनका
I'm seeing a consolidated P&L which I have created. So there might be some exceptional gain, but yeah, if someone has a look into actual financials from the RHP, then please give clarity on this.
Yeah.
ओके, तो इन्होंने 1800 मेगावाट का ऑपरेशनल एक इनका कैपेसिटी दे सोल्ड दैट एसेट एंड आई थिंक रियलाइज्ड क्लोज टू 650 crores. आई थिंक व्हाट दिस ग्रुप डज इज, तो आई थिंक ये जो आईपीपी का मॉडल होता है ना, व्हाट यू नीड टू डू इज यू हैव टू सेट अप अ प्लांट, you have to create a capacity. Generally, they do by taking 70% of the debt and 25% of the equity. So surely the debt is going to be very high. So how to finance this? So to create a new capacity, you will take debt, and what of that 25% equity? So the company generates an XYZ cash flow, and they need the then that additional cash flow out of it. So what this company does is this company sells an asset, I think once in 2 or 3 years, generate that cash flows, fund the growth, then takes the company to a higher scale, then sells one more asset. So this is the scale of the company at which it is working from. I think if you see that this company is incorporated in 2015, actually it's a very, I think very old company. What has been done is some entities have been consolidated in this company which is getting listed. It has been the strategy of the group that we will sell one of our asset, realize the cash flows, then further invest in the capital expenditure of creating new capacities, and then take the company to a newer scale. So I think this is an ongoing process. In 2020 or 2021, they did similar things. Now they did this in FY24, and they might do in future as well.
Got it. Rohit, what's your view on Acme?
Yeah, I think Tanmay explained this last part. So when these guys, at least what the company has said is, when they're, when they build an asset, what they are good at is they're good at building the asset. Once they build this power plant that then sells electricity to say the government entities, that entity will pay a sort of fixed tariff over say 15 or 25 years. I think it's typically 20, 25 years. If there is somebody else who's willing to buy that asset at a premium to this sort of annuity, this cash flow. They will sell that asset, which gives them the cash that they need to say build the next asset and bigger and bigger assets and sort of increase the other thing. And this is the only way for them to expand and grow, unless they take external capital, right? Like you kind of need to finance this with some kind of debt equity mix. And now with this IPO, they are getting 2,000 odd crore of equity, which will allow them to take that much more debt and sort of scale and grow. So they hopefully don't have to sell the asset, because the problem, like the sort of confusion with this company is, if you look at the numbers, the revenue looks flat. But the revenue looks flat because the capacity that they have added, they're selling. They're in 2024, they had a lot more capacity, but then they sold it, and in the P&L that shows up as an exceptional income. So people will just sort of remove that from their math and they say, oh, this P multiple, it's a bit confusing. If you don't understand this business, you will just sort of exclude it, saying this is one time, and say that, oh, this is a crazy multiple, and not even look at this business. But I think the way the management has sort of said this is, going forward, because they're able to raise this equity now, they will be able to stop doing that, or at least reduce that aspect of building an asset and without sort of sweating it and collecting that electricity rent for the next several years and being forced to sell it. They don't have to do that. I mean, they may still do it maybe in a smaller scale, but that is one sort of guidance I got. But the other thing, sort of just to explain this, or how I look at this company. So I think the best way to value this business is on the capacity. There is one other listed peer, which is Adani Green. That's the only other company that focuses on I'd say power plants, renewable power plants. You also have somebody like a JSW Energy, which does a mix of thermal and renewable. But if you take Adani Green, it's sort of a pure play player in this space. It's a direct peer. It's just way, way larger. But if you just look at the capacity or the equivalent capacities of the two, this company, Acme Solar, has 1.2 gigawatt of existing operations. This is excluding what they've already sold off. And they have just energized or commissioned another 1.2 gigawatt this month. So they're actually sitting today at about 2.5 gigawatt of operational capacity, and they're going to operationalize another 500 megawatt, which is another 0.5 gigawatt by the end of this fiscal. That is by, I think, March of 25. So this company, at least today, you can see it has about 2.5 gigawatt. The same number for Adani is 11 gigawatt, which is, say, four and a half times larger. Adani is at 15 times the market cap of this company. Most of the other metrics are in line. Like you can't look at this and say, oh, this P is minus this negative. I mean, if you look at the Q1, quarter one P&L, they have shown 50 crore PBT and also 50 crore tax. And that tax, again, because of a certain weird calculation. But the right way to look at this is, in Q1, they generated 50 crore of PBT from this 1.2 gigawatts that they had. You add back depreciation, which is a non-cash expense, which means that they have generated about 110, 120 crore of, let's say 100 crore of cash, per quarter, selling the electricity. Now, from following quarters, they're going to double that capacity. They will generate double the amount of, essentially that 100 will become 200 crore. So they're today sitting at about 800 crore of cash that they're generating, per year. Again, that when you just translate that into the multiple that is coming, it's coming at about 20 times multiple on this factor. If you take Adani Green is 70 times on that multiple. Even if you look at a JSW Energy, which is not renewable, which is a mix of old thermal and renewable, that still sits at, I think, 40, 50 times. And on a capacity multiple, it sits at somewhere between somewhere between Acme Solar and Adani Green. I think it's bang in the middle of the two. So this company actually this also looks incredibly cheap to me. I don't think anyone understands, like, whatever I've seen some seriously bad reviews on YouTube and stuff from people who just have no idea how to look at this business. People who look at Chittorgarh and just, this PPAT went to 700 crore, 50 crore, which raises eyebrows, this, that. You have to understand what is the valuation driver for this business. This company has done the hard work of setting up this capacity. Now, for 25 years, it will get a fixed predetermined rate from the government. So that number is fixed. So that 50 crore that generally generate this every month for the next, or every quarter for the next 25 years. And every new capacity that they add will sort of incrementally add on this. So just looking at, like, for me, the simplest proxy is just the capacity that they have live, and you can sort of maybe even look at it forward. Okay, next year they will have 3 gigawatt. In another year, they'll have another 3. By FY25, they'll have 6 or 6.5 gigawatt. Plus, they'll obviously win more orders in the middle. So this company, again, looks incredibly cheap to me, just compared to everything else that's there. again, the market is, it's shocking that there is no GMP. Uh, to me, I like this the best, just because this is also in the solar segment, which should have some sort of underlying momentum. Within the segment, it is cheaper than the non-solar companies, or those that do a mix of thermal and sort of renewables. So for me, this is again a no-brainer. I have no idea how it will list, given how the market is, but looks like on fair value, it has left a lot on the table.
Got it. Very
So
interesting.
I like to, so
Yeah.
I want to speak some points. I think कुछ चीजें ऐसी है जो बतानी चाहिए, ओके, जो और इसको ज्यादा क्लियर होगा. तो see, this company is first of all, I think reducing a debt of 1800 crores, I think, out of the IPO. तो उनका 9300 से डेट नीचे आके 7400 हो जाएगा. ओके, तो अभी मैं इनके थोड़ा कैपेसिटी पे आता हूँ. अभी आफ्टर सेलिंग दैट एसेट, द करंट operational capacity is around 1800. Okay, and they have already commissioned a new 1800 facility. I mean, plant in Rajasthan. Okay, or March of FY25, मतलब in next 4 months they are coming with. They are coming with 450 megawatt more capacity, which has been already funded fully. Okay, so it's set to get commissioned. तो अगले साल में इसका पूरा impact अच्छे से आएगा. And they also have the pipeline of 2.6 gigawatt, which they are set to commence in March 26. मतलब in next financial year के last month में they are coming with 2.6 more gigawatt more capacity. तो इनका total capacity 6 gigawatt हो जाएगा. They have also one more 350 megawatt, which is actually it's not funded, or management hasn't spoken well on it. So अपन 6.3 की जगह पे सिर्फ 6 gigawatt लेंगे, I think. 6 gigawatt at 17,000 crore valuation seems okay. अभी such an interesting point पे मैं आता हूँ, which is given in the RHP. The company has an ambition capex plan of 2.3 gigawatt of battery storage and pumped storage of 600 megawatt in Uttar Pradesh. एक इंटरेस्टिंग नंबर की इसके केपेक्स के लिए कितना अमाउंट लगेगा. That amount is 38,465 crores. It's given in the RHP. Okay, 38,465 crores. आपको पता है इसका टाइमलाइन क्या है? अगले 2.5 साल में, 2.5 years. The company has said 75% will be funded by debt, 25% will be equity. And one more thing which management said indirectly was majority of the equity will be funded internally. तो आप जस्ट एक एस्टिमेशन लगा सकते हो कि 38,465 करोड़ का 25% कितना होता है, और अगले 3 साल में क्या कर सकते हैं. And they have also, see, first of all, who are their lenders? PFC, REC, IREDA, SBI. These entities have already sanctioned a 12,000 crore debt to it. Okay, और एक चीज बोलूंगा मैं, तो सी, एनटीपीसी का भी आईपीओ आने वाला है अगले 15 दिन में. एवरीवन नोज दैट. उसका कैपेसिटी कितना है? 2.9 गीगावाट सोलर, 0.1 गीगावाट अदर्स, मतलब टोटल कितना? 3 गीगावाट. यू नो व्हाट इज द एक्सपेक्टेड वैल्यूएशन ऑफ इट? 45,000 crores. ओके, सो 45,000 crores में आपको मिल रहा है 3 गीगावाट, और मुझे 17,500 पे मिल रहा है 2.3 गीगावाट ऑपरेशनल and 3.6 gigawatt peak in next 4 months. आई थिंक मैं अगर इसको एक सिंपल डिवीजन करूं तो मुझे 15,000 करोड़ पर गीगावाट एनटीपी से मिल रहा है, और मुझे मिल रहा है आई थिंक 5,000 करोड़, which is I think roughly 5 times. NTPC is coming 5 times expensive to Acme on current operational capacity in FY25. I think this is one more metric. अगर मैं अदानी ग्रीन और एक्मे को कंपेयर करूं, आई थिंक ऑपरेशनल लेवल पे ऑन आई थिंक हाफ ऑफ द मेट्रिक्स एक्मे does better than अदानी. It generates 94.5% EBITDA margin. अदानी does 92%. बहुत सारे रेशियोज और अदर चीजों में भी डिफरेंस है. And one more thing was like I think this is I think fourth attempt for the of the company to come with an IPO. 2016, 17, 18, fourth attempt है. That time they were tapping the markets for an valuation of roughly 9 to 10,000 crores when their I think revenue used to be 500 crores. I think उनपे उस वक्त 800 मेगावाट नहीं 600 मेगावाट का कैपेसिटी हुआ करता था 2018 में. I think now they are coming at 17,000. I think, and one more thing was the interesting thing was this IPO was expected at 3,000 crores, 2,000 fresh, 1,000 OFS. The OFS came down to 495, 505, and the fresh has gone up from 2,000 to 2,395. I think this all things make it very interesting. You just think once कि यार 38,465 करोड़ का केपेक्स अगर ये कंपनी कर रही है 17,000 करोड़ मार्केट कैप अगले 2.5 साल में, तो ये क्या पोटेंशियल है. एंड जस्ट थिंक फ्रॉम स्टैंड पॉइंट की 6 गीगावाट, 6 भी छोड़ दो, in FY26, how much can 3.7 gigawatt peak power generate the revenues? And market will already discount its 2.3 mega gigawatt capacity in FY26 itself. मतलब आई थिंक 6 महीने में इसका पोटेंशियल बहुत बड़ा होता है. आपको एक बहुत आई थिंक बड़े स्केल की कंपनी एक रीजनेबल मार्केट कैप, आई नो कि अगर मैं कुछ मल्टीपल्स ले लूं तो आई थिंक थोड़ा सा वो गिमिकी हो जाएगा, बट एक मल्टीपल लेता है छोटा सा. एक्मे सोलर इज कमिंग एट एन EBITDA मल्टीपल ऑफ 16 टाइम्स फॉर FY25 के. इस पे आएगा करीब करीब 12-13 टाइम आएगा. अदानी ग्रीन ट्रेड्स एट 36 टाइम्स, फॉरवर्ड पे चलता है ये 26-28 टाइम्स. तो आई थिंक दैट्स इनफ टू एक्सप्लेन. वन मोर थिंग यार, एंकर बुक भी बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग थी वैसे. आई थिंक नॉट एन यूजुअल एंकर बुक. कुछ नए नाम थे, कुछ बहुत अलग नाम थे जो इंडिया में शायद पहली बार इन्वेस्ट करे. फिर कुछ 2021-22 के इन्वेस्टर्स थे जो वापिस आए. दो तीन बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग नाम भी थे. सो द पीपल हु नो मी फ्रॉम आई थिंक लॉट ऑफ टाइम नो what names I'm talking about, but that's all from my part.
Got it. With that, we have kind of covered the review for Acme Solar as well. Uh, any Now I know one major question is for listing. What do you plan to do? What is your preference? Maybe we can talk about that. But before that, anything that you guys have to add between the three of you, any of the three issues before we talk about what we are planning to do with the IPOs? And again, it's a slightly tricky issue. I see one question with respect to people are promoting Acme Solar. It is irrelevant, right? You take a decision basis what you think works for you. Again, this is what I started the space as well with, saying that we are just discussing what we feel about the company. That might not necessarily be the truth. We just share it for educational purposes. So keep that in mind. But yeah, anything that you guys, three of you, have to add, or let me just shamelessly plug my YouTube channel again one more time. If you have not followed the YouTube channel, the comment link is in the pinned comments. वहां पे मैं ये स्पेस भी डाल दूंगा. वहां पे आप स्पेसिफिक इशू के बारे में जाके सुन सकते हो आईपीओ लगाने से पहले. With that, unless you guys have anything to add, we can kind of move on to what we are planning to do with the IPO.
I'll just add one thing. All four of us, I think, just share the views what is given in the RHP on the interviews taken by the given by the promoters, or the notes given by various top level and credible brokerages. So I think none of us go out of it, and whatever I have spoken currently on Acme, everything is given crystal clear in the RHP. So I think there's nothing like pumping. And now when I said that from where you got the Sagility 700 crore pat number, आई थिंक यार मैं एक चीज बोलूंगा, आप फाइनेंशियल्स पे जाओ, रिस्टेटेड कंसोलिडेटेड फाइनेंशियल्स पे जाओ, गुडविल बैलेंस शीट में गुडविल लिखा हुआ रहेगा, वो गुडविल में जाओ, उसका नोट्स टू अकाउंट्स में कैलकुलेशन सारे दिए हुए कि अगले साल आई थिंक रेवेन्यू का सीएजर कितना, EBITDA का कितना, और उसके बाद जो सिंपल थर्ड स्टैंडर्ड का मैथमेटिक्स आएगा ना, उसके हिसाब से सारे नंबर्स आ जाते हैं. तो इट्स नॉट दैट व्हाट वी फोर ऑफ अस आर डूइंग. इट्स आई थिंक वेरी सिंपल, नॉट आई से सिंपल, बट इट्स नथिंग अ रॉकेट साइंस. जस्ट वी आर ट्राइंग टू मेक योर लाइफ इजियर, बिकॉज सी अब देखो सैजिलिटी की जो चीज है वो आउटसोर्स करता है. Okay, it's not the thing that the insurance companies cannot do that service. They're doing just to make their lives easier and to just increase the efficiency of the company. We're just trying to do the same. We know that you can do the same, but we're just trying to make your analysis more efficient. So it's nothing like pumping, and I think we are not pumping an IPO, just presenting what's given on the official side. That's all.
Got it. With that, Maybe I'll start with myself. What I'm planning to do is Acme Solar. I'll definitely be applying. Again, this is a solar theme, and I feel इसमें GMP आ जाएगा. And again, I'll be seeing Sagility tomorrow basis QIB. If QIBs come in, I will try and go in for a fixed allocation for how much I want allotment. So keep that in mind on how much allotment you're comfortable with. Get that allotment in Sagility, and then probably Swiggy, I would be holding for longish period of time. So I like Swiggy. So I'll be applying for Swiggy, and even if it goes in discount, I don't care at that moment of time. So I'll definitely be applying to Swiggy, and Acme Solar would be my first choice. So it would be Acme, Swiggy, and Sagility. Although all three of them look good to me, honestly. How are you guys planning to do? I know, Yash, you don't apply an IPO, so you are out of this question unless you want to go ahead and apply any of those IPOs where reviews have changed your mind on anything. But Tanmay and Rohit, what are you guys planning to do?
Okay, I'll go first then. Yeah, I think very similar order as yours, Manish. I like the business of Acme Solar. I think it is the only small cap play in the space. The only other play is Adani Green, and Adani Green is what it is. At almost 3 lakh crore, 2.5 lakh, 2.7 lakh crore market cap. If you want to play a slightly faster growth, small cap in this space, this is the only option. I think there will be more coming. I know Apollo Green has filed a DRHP recently, which is also something in the space. Of course, NTPC Green, everyone knows. But at the moment, in the private sector, this is the only opportunity to place in the small cap space. So I think there will be good interest in this company. I like the company the most. Swiggy is also a no-brainer, but here I think we'll have to go based on the amount that we want. And probably what I'll do is I'll just think if I want to say get 10 lakh worth of allowance, that number is just as an example. Maybe I'll try to apply to get 5 lakh. And just looking at how the listings have been, there's no guarantee that this won't list negative, right? Like it's just the way it is. I would rather than keep a little bit of buffer to maybe buy the rest on listing and average my position. And the last one will be Sagility. I will apply for all three. Again, Sagility also I'll see based on how much I want to get. In all of these three, I'll do that, which is just keep an amount overall. If I want to get say 10 lakhs, I'll try to apply to get 5 lakhs, and that number might vary for each issue, but I will just make sure that I'm little de-risked, because right now the market is not listing companies well, but it is doing excellent post-listing action. So let's see if that trend sort of continues or not.
मैं कुछ I'll first of all I've already cleared my mindset कि यार Sagility I'm going full force. Everyone, some of you know that I'm already sitting on a huge chunk of cash. I'll go full force in Sagility. I'll secure the allotments for good listing gains, and I'll surely keep it for long term. I think sure, at least what my desired target is. तब तक मैं उसको रखूंगा. Swiggy for me is an I think listing gains. I look at मैं listing gains भी देखता हूँ उसमें, and I think I'm thinking to hold it for 2 to 3 months. Or if it doesn't deliver the desired returns, I can just increase my 10 out of it. But I feel it should also deliver good pop. Acme Solar can be a post-listing kind of move, I think. Because see, अगर मैं इन तीनों का कॉन्टेक्स्ट बता दूं थोड़ा सा. अगर मैं पिछले 5-6 IPOs निकालूं तो I think none the IPOs was कि यार QIBs will come full-fledged and try to grab the pie or grab a good quantity, because आपको पता है Hyundai नीचे मिल जाएगा, Afcons मिल जाएगा, गोदावरी मिल रहा है, दीपक आपको नहीं चाहिए, गरुड़ा भी नहीं चाहिए, वारी ले चुके हैं. But you just think of these three. All three are offered at damn cheap valuations. Everyone knows they'll rally suddenly post-listing. All the institutions will try to get a pie. Everyone will bid in the QIB. Everyone will grab with the pre-open. Everyone will try to grab on the listing day. So it's a no-brainer for me to keep all of three for listing deals as well as for short, medium, long term, whatever you wish. All three are, I think, no-brainer applies. I think I'll surely I'll try 90% post analysis of both Swiggy Solar tomorrow afternoon or evening kind of thing. But yes, I think we shouldn't miss this. I think people say कि यार हमको listing gain चाहिए, हमको उसके beyond नहीं देखना है. I'll just say कि यार आपको पहले allotment भी कहाँ मिलता था, अभी मिल रहा है. आपका सिर्फ listing gain का भी 1 हफ्ते में 2 हफ्ते में डाल दो. You'll get the desired returns at whatever quantity you want. So I think the mindset is very clear to apply all of them for whatever tenure you want me to say.
Got it. With that, we are almost at the end of the space. Just want to highlight, अगर आपने कोई भी कंपनी का रिव्यू मिस किया है तो ऊपर यूट्यूब चैनल पिन है, आप उस स्पेस में जाके मैं ये स्पेस वहां पे डाल दूंगा इन द नेक्स्ट हाफ एन आवर 40 मिनट्स, तो आप वो भी जाके वहां पे सुन सकते हो. बट या विद दैट वी हैव कवर्ड द थ्री कंपनीज. ऑल थ्री ऑफ देम लुक गुड टू अस, एंड अगेन इट्स अ like very rarely is there a buyer's market. Usually there is a seller's market in IPOs where they have to give IPO and you get into line to take. This seems like one of those days where like you are getting the IPOs that you want. So just figure out how much allocation you can do, which avoids any kind of risk of ruin. Anything which gives you sleepless nights is not worth it. So only apply what you are eligible, but what you can live with if it opens, let's say, at 10% discount. But yeah, that is what our review of the three companies what was. With that, we kind of cover today's space, and we'll come back next week with next week. There is going to be Niva Bupa, which closes next week, and then there are going to be two SMEs as well, which are going to close. One of them is the biggest SME raise IPO till date, 260 hours. So it will be very interesting to see. But yeah, all the best to everyone for this week's IPOs. I hope that the market corrects. So market becomes a lot more better over the next 2 days, and there's a lot of subscription, a lot of QIP show up, and we are able to make some money in these issues, in listing gains as well as in the long term. But yeah, with that, thank you so much, guys, for joining. Have a good day ahead.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.